So I've been lifting for a year and a half. And during the starting of my lifting journey, I was very obsessed with strength. I wanted to be extremely strong with the bench press and overhead press. So I just used to spam bench press 3-4 times a week. Just like a horse, just diesel. Like boom. I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed with the bench press. And you know, I got fairly good results. I was able to hit 100 kgs or 2 plates in about 6 months of lifting. And after that, I sort of eased out on the bench press. I thought 100 kg, 2 plates is a pretty good standard that I had actually crossed, and I eased off of it. I didn't really bench press that much, and I'd say after about 10 to 11 months of lifting, I started my cut because I thought I had built somewhat decent amount of muscle mass and I just wanted to cut to, you know, show my abs and show the definitions and show the muscles that I had built. And you know, to be fair, I got pretty lean. I got really lean. These are some pictures. But the one thing that actually suffered, although I didn't really lose any muscle, I kept my protein intake pretty nice and a steady cut. One thing I did lose was the strength of my compound lifts. My bench press max went from 100 kilos to 90 kilos.
People ask how I'm doing. Very suicidal.
That kind of disappointed me, I'm not gonna lie, because I wanted to feel strong, right? After you've ended your cut, you feel very depleted and weak. And rightfully so, you've lost a bunch of weight, right? I lost almost 20 kilos. So that's a bunch of weight. And as soon as I finished my cut, I wanted to feel strong. I wanted to feel like a beast, basically, right? And I started doing compound lifts, deadlift, squats, bench press again. And I have been out of my cut for, I'd say 2-3 weeks now. And let me tell you, I feel amazing. There is nothing like a good deadlift, a good bench, and a good squat. There's nothing like it. The feeling it gives you afterwards. Just feel like a fucking beast, man. Feel extremely strong. You feel like you could bench press the world. Really. So yeah, I am absolutely falling in love with compound lifts again, right? And it's just so fun, man. Although it is fatiguing, right? After a hard deadlift session, you're done for the next 2 days. At least from the posterior chain perspective, you're really tired after a good intense deadlift session. Same with squats and bench press. But there's just nothing like it, man. Because during the cut, I was mostly doing isolation exercises, lateral raises, bicep curls, chest flies, you know, isolation exercises to isolate the muscle I was trying to maintain or build. And I didn't really do any compound lifts. That's why I lost a lot of strength. Because it's not just muscle loss that affects the compound strength, it's also the neural drive. Your technique suffers, and they're called compound lifts for a reason because they involve a lot of muscles, not just one muscle like isolation exercises. Lateral raises and bicep curls, for example, they involve mostly, at least 90%, one particular muscle group, right? For lateral raises, it is the lateral head of the deltoids, and for bicep curls, it's obviously the biceps, right? There is some involvement of traps and lateral raises, but it's only minor. Compound lifts, on the other hand, they affect a lot of muscles and they take a toll on a lot of muscles. That's why it's very fatiguing to do them. Bench press, if your technique is powerlifting standard perfect, it involves the obvious one is your chest and your shoulders and your triceps, right? But they also involve your lower back, your quads, your core, and it's just very fatiguing. Deadlifts, again, it involves your hamstrings, lower back, lats, glutes, right? Yeah, a little bit of, you know, your rear delts, so, and traps. Yeah, squats again, glutes, quads, hamstrings, lower back. So yeah, they're very fatiguing. But man, I mean, isolation exercises have their place, I agree, for sure. If you watch any science-based lifters videos, for example, Jeff Nippard, Sean Alwani, anyone, they're right. They are very right that isolation exercises have their place. To build muscle, you need them. But man, just the way compound movements make you feel after a good hard session of those. be it overhead press, deadlift, bench press, squat, anything. It's like no other. Man, if you lift, I'd say a plate or two, for example, one plate, okay, that's 60 kilos on overhead press, up your head, man, you best believe this is gonna make you feel like a beast. Just a straight up caveman, dude. It's amazing, yeah. So there was like a saying in our group, the friends who went to the gym with me, right? That said deadlifts increase testosterone. We obviously joked about it, but there might be some truth to it because the adrenaline rush you have after a very, very heavy deadlift is like no other. You get lightheaded, your heart's pumping out, and you just feel amazing, like an absolute beast. There's nothing like compound lifts. If you're a lifter and if you're not a beginner, you might understand what I'm saying. Compound lifts are amazing, are the king. You know, stick to the basics. Sure, isolation exercise have their place. I still do lateral raises, bicep curls, right? What do you call it? Incline chest press, incline dumbbell press, right? Sure, but man, please incorporate some compound lifts in your exercise routine. They will transform the way you lift and honestly the way you feel. They're amazing. There's a reason why the people who came before us, like the golden generation, the bronze generation of bodybuilders, they stuck to the basics. They swore by these compound lifts. There's a very good reason for it. TLDR, too long didn't read, or rather too long didn't watch. TLDW is incorporate compound lifts in your exercise routine. Okay, bye.